Hello, welcome. If this is your first time looking at one of these videos, and welcome back if it's not. This is going to be a new sort of a parallel set of videos that will be discussing other things around meditation other than the actual doing of it. So this is not going to be about technique, but it's going to be bringing in other things, cultural things, societal things, personal things that affect are doing meditation. And I'm going to be raising some things here and there that may be blind spots that we look at, suggest that we look at as we go along. Things that that can blindside us or can be affecting our very reasons for doing meditation without our even realizing it. Probably the biggest or one of the most important aspects that comes up is simply, why are we doing it? That people would usually answer to is something very simple. They would say, I have problems sleeping. I want to relax more. I want to have a clearer head. I want to do better for society and be a better me. It's for self-improvement. All of those things have running through them like a thread. Throughout all of them is the idea of being better, making myself better, instead of realizing the essential part of ourselves, which is actually quite pure. And people, what are you talking about? Let's backtrack a little bit. We live in a capitalist society. There are two aspects to our society. We live in a capitalist society, and we live in a society that may be very secular by comparison, secular meaning non-religious, okay? Especially in Canada. Even Canada and the United States are quite contrasted, very, very different. The US is very religious. It's still a very religious society. Religion plays a very, very big role in that culture, and it doesn't here in Canada. Not on a societal level. It's still a very private thing here in Canada. Canadians are very private about religion. It's something, if they even talk about it at all, it's with people who are doing the same thing that they're doing with their own particular communities, whether that be religious or whether that be spiritual, new agey, or whatever. Generally, Canadians tend to be a little bit more reserved about that and not make it an important part of society. Canadians don't want that to be part of society, whereas Americans do. And vive la différence, but that is there. Even so, you could still say in a lot of ways that compared to, say, the Renaissance or whatever, 17th century, America is still more so now, predominantly more of a capitalist society than it is a religious society, and Canada is even more so that way. Nevertheless, the two things really actually play into why we feel we need to make ourselves better. If we take it, say, chronologically and look more at the religious thing, it has to do with the Judeo-Christian background that we have that still informs our culture. It's still there. Whether we like to think of our society as being very secular, our codes of morals, the way we judge right and wrong, our laws are all set up based on a Judeo-Christian background, a Judeo-Christian history of a couple thousand years. One of the cornerstones of that Judeo-Christian paradigm, way of looking at things, is the doctrine of original sin, which is probably more of a Christian thing than Judaism, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I would like to, if I'm to be corrected, please do so. At least that we know that it's very much a Christian thing to be born in original sin. So you're already off on the wrong foot the moment you're conceived. You're already, or the moment you're born, you're already off on the wrong foot. You're born with sin and you need to be redeemed. Whether we like to agree that that has an effect on us or not, it does. Years ago, I was talking to a Tibetan Lama who said, of course, born in Tibet and raised in India, and then, of course, moved to the West afterwards. His formative years were all outside of North America. And he said, in his estimation, the single most destructive idea in all of Western culture is the concept of original sin. Because from a Buddhist standpoint, which is, of course, he's a Tibetan Buddhist, it's a complete travesty. In Buddhism, every single thing that lives, that's sentient, okay, my poor little friends here, the plants would probably, there's debate whether they're sentient or not, but for most people would agree that they're not sentient. They're sensitive, they're aware, but they're not sentient. Not an argument we need to get into here. However, Buddhists say that all sentient beings have within them, at the core of their being, the seed of enlightenment, that it's already there. It's not something to be gained. It's not something to be earned. It's not something to be given to us out of grace. It's there already. So to the Rinpoche that said that to me, that he thought that it was the most destructive idea in all of Western culture, and he said he had his major job in dealing with Westerners was to get them over this incredibly deep wound in their psyches of being born bad. So let's keep that into context. That is something that is very much part of our society. It's insidious. It's like fish not being aware of water. There's that old example of, do fish realize what water is when they're in it? Do we realize that do we realize what air is? This isn't space. There isn't space between these hands and so on. There's something there. There's something there and all throughout this whole room, and it permeates the entire room and so on. But we never question it. We think of the space between me and that car, or me and that building, or me and you talking in a room is space. But we're not existing in space. We're existing in air. So it's the same thing with some of the ideas and cultural constructs that come through that actually make our culture what it is. We're not even aware of it for the most part, but it's there. Okay. Piggybacking on that is the idea of capitalism. Capitalism works by creating want. You can't create want or need if people feel fulfilled. So you make sure that people don't feel fulfilled, that people feel that something's missing, that something's wrong. And instead of offering them prayers or meditation or philosophy or art or something that's, something that where the person themselves can empower themselves, you put it out there away from them. And you tell them, that thing over there you need. That over there you need. Are we doing the same thing when we approach meditation? Are we thinking, as long as I do that over there, as long as I do that practice, if I work really hard and achieve, again, to acquire something that's not in me, but I want to take on those qualities. If I want to be a better person, I need to get something else to do that for me. I need to make myself better. Okay, so original sin, I need to make myself better. I need to be a better person. According to some schools of thought, Eastern thought, that is really something that's going to trip us up and really hobble our practice if we are constantly dragging around this ball and chain of original sin, and we're also feeling that we are not empowered, we are not already empowered, we are not already fulfilled, and we have to do something else to get that. So are we doing that when we decide to choose, when we decide to meditate? Are we thinking, if I can learn how to do that. Maybe I can get something that will benefit me. Maybe I can be a better person. What if we shifted those two things out of the picture? And what if we made as our motivation for meditation realizing what's already there? It's already there. We don't need to acquire enlightenment or realization or a calmer mind or however you want to describe it, whatever works best for you. It's already there. Our culture does not want you to realize that. Our culture does not want you to see that. That's not how capitalism's going to work. And it's not how we do our assessments of what's good and bad and right and wrong in society, because of the religious conditioning that is that insidious part of the culture that we don't even realize, like fish in water or us in air. So let's look at that in ourselves and think really, really deeply about why we're doing this. Are we doing this to be someone else, a better me in the future? Are we doing this to improve ourselves because we feel that we're not good enough? If we're even doing that slightly, we need to look at our motivation and we need to think deeply about that. It's a big paradigm shift. It's a huge shift of consciousness if we turn it from, and all religions are out there based. You've got a utopian future. If you build up enough, merit for your soul, you'll achieve that heaven that's out there, that thing that's beyond. And that's how communism works too. Okay, whether it's a heaven or whether it's a workers' utopia and heaven are both out there somewhere else. They're not here. Actually, the word utopia itself, if you look it up, utopia is a Greek word, and utopia means not here, meaning not possible, can't happen. It's not here. It's something out there. It's something beyond. It is not here. It is something there that we need to get to. And this is how capitalism works. It promises some kind of emotional or psychological or situational or societal utopia to us. If you smoke these cigarettes, you'll be more of a man. If you buy this car, you're more of a man. If you wear this makeup and you wear, this or that, these clothes and so on, you'll be a better woman. If you have so many children, you'll be a better woman than if a woman who decides not to have children, etc., etc., etc. All of this heifer dust, as my old geography teacher used to call it, keeps us from realizing the essential beauty and fullness of what we already are. So this is where these meditations are leading to, is it's more so to get you to see what's already there, the peace, the clarity, the wisdom, the intelligence, the goodness that's already there. It's not about acquiring a state of mind, some kind of elated state of mind or special state of mind. Oh yeah, you can get to some very, very beautiful places, but they're already there. They're already in you. They already exist. But the conditioning that we have builds walls in front so that we can't see it. Meditation is about taking down those walls and revealing what's already there. So let's take a look at our motivations for doing this and see if we can make that shift that gear into a way of approaching meditation that isn't about bettering ourselves as people who need to be bettered, and not about acquiring something that is out there that is beyond us. So we're already good, we just need to realize it. We're already beautiful and enlightened, truly, but we have to realize it. And it takes work. It does. It takes a lot to get rid of the conditioning that keeps us feeling like we're bad or that we're lacking. let's deal with that. Okay? Cheers.